the Nigerian under-18 D Tigers. They lost to Egypt. We understand your uncertainty surrounding, of course, their rival down there in South Africa for this particular one. What do you make? What will you attribute, the loss to? Will you attribute it to fatigue due to the fact that they arrived late before the first encounter against Egypt?
Yes, fatigue could have been a problem. The state of their mental preparedness could also have been a problem. Don't forget that 24 hours before departure, they were not sure if they would be in South Africa. As the alarm that was raised about the South African embassy here in Nigeria denying the players or athletes visas, to South Africa. This is, for me, it's not really good for us on the continent of Africa. When you know too well that your country is hosting a particular sporting event and entries have been made from participating countries only for you to deny them, entry visas. It does not show, brotherhood, on the continent. If this is coming from a European country or Asia or America, South America, we will be complaining. But this is Africa here. It's so sad that the players were subjected to such mental torture, because when an athlete, goes through such mental torture, it becomes very difficult for such athletes, to be at his very best, because everything about preparation ahead of the tournament has been programmed. You prepare for 1 month, for example, and 2 days you arrive at the tournament venue 2-3 days before commencement of the tournament, maybe to acclimatize and to further fine-tune your approaches to each game as it comes. The 2-3 days that you have stayed for acclimatization of 4 days, as the case may be, and the number of training sessions that you would have had to further get yourselves, familiar with maybe the playing surface. The playing surface in your country is different from what you're going to use over there. You get familiar with the playing surface, you get familiar with the environment, and you perfect your tactics and all of that. All of this you did not get to do. It is you arrive at the tournament venue and straight to the courts to play. So performance will certainly be affected. So I want to believe that was what happened to the team. But of course, it did pretty well, playing against the defending champions on the continent of Africa. So let's see what their second game will be like against Angola. For me, they've done pretty well. However, I don't know when the MBBF in Nigeria forwarded the names of the given the expected time, or if it was done, much more later, that we don't know. But whatever it is, the South African embassy did not do well, delaying entry visas to these players.
All right, let's just see how it goes. We hope that the players, of course, will bounce back from this one and, of course, get their second encounter in a very, very good fashion. But away from that, Mr. Peter, you and I, of course, understand that the Paralympic game is still on. And so far, so good. It's just been 2 medals for Team Nigeria. 1 bronze in the para-badminton and 1 silver medal in the para-lifting. We saw Esther Mwogu putting up that impressive feat yesterday, of course, to take up the silver medal in the para-lifting. What do you make of the performance of Team Nigeria so far?
It's not better than the 0 medal your able-bodied athlete, came back with. The other day we were talking, and Michael was so excited about $15,000 for gold as a very big motivation, and I remember that motivation can only work when your athletes have been subjected to the best of training program, have been subjected to the best of motivation, have been subjected to the best of facilities, equipment before the tournament proper. You don't bring in financial motivation thinking that to do the math.
Mr. Badge, are you there?
So those who have won for Nigeria, they have really written their name in gold in the sands of time in this country at the time when we are going through so much pain, so much hardship, economically in Nigeria. Sporting-wise, we have something that we put, smiles, on our faces. So congratulations to them. I'm really proud of these, athletes for bringing the Nigerian spirit to the table. And we can only get better than this. Things can be better, if we do that, which is right, and at the right time.
All right, taking a look at it, so far so good. We've seen how abysmal the para table tennis athletes, they perform. We only have one now who is in the semi-final. That's Opene. Can you hear me, Mr. Badji? Mr. Badji, can you hear me?
Hello?
Can you hear me, Mr. Badji?
Come again with your question, Kingsley. I'm struggling.
Okay.
Come again with your question. I'm struggling to hear you.
All right. I was asking, overall, have you been impressed with the performance of the athletes, so far? Because
the network is disturbing now.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you clearly. I can hear you clearly down here, Mr. Badji. Can you hear me?
Wow.
Mr. Badji, can you hear me? All right, sir. We'll see how to establish the connection with...
Can you hear me clearly?
I can hear you now.
Okay, I can hear you now.
Okay.
I can hear you now.
All right. I was asking, what do you make of the overall performance for the players?
Yes, I can.
The players who saw the para table tennis athletes, they had a very, very abysmal performance. About 8 of them were actually eliminated. Rose saw only one in the semi-final of the competition, as it is, and he's also looking for a medal as it stands. I don't know, overall, have you been impressed with the performance of the athletes? Hello, Mr. Badji. All right, I think we see how to establish a connection back with Mr. Abaji on the show this morning. But away from that, the Minister of Sports Development, Senator John Wanino, has praised Esther Nwogu for securing Nigeria's second medal and the women's 41 kg para-powerlifting category at the ongoing Paralympic Games in Paris. The minister, who has been in Paris to support Team Nigeria, expressed his pride in the athletes' achievements. He emphasized the importance of resilience and belief in their abilities, urging the entire team to continue striving for podium finishes. And a very good one. Of course, the minister has been so supportive. We saw him, of course, commending the likes of Eniola Bolaji, and also talking about Esther for putting up that impressive feat as well. All right, still talking about the Paralympic game. We'll also, Nigeria's Iso Okunkule is thrilled by his famous win over France's Maxime Thomas in the quarterfinals of the men's class 4 table tennis event of the Paris 2024 Paralympic Games. The Ogun State athlete became the star attraction at the South Paris Arena after silencing the home crowd with a stunning 3-1 victory in that particular encounter was saw. All right, we have Mr. Abaji with us. Mr. Abaji, can you hear us now? Mr. Abaji, can you hear us now? Okay, well, we're still struggling to establish that connection with Mr. Abaji. But that's it. We'll be seeing Okunkule, of course, in the semi-final. And, of course...
Yes, I can hear you.
Can you hear me now, Mr. Abaji?
The network is better now.
Okay. I was asking, have you been impressed with the performance of the para-athletes, especially in para-table tennis, where, we saw some of the athletes, they had an abysmal performance. Just the man talking about Okunkule, he's in the semi-final of the table tennis event and looking forward to get another medal for Team Nigeria. What do you make of the overall performance of the athletes that have performed so far? Have you been impressed with the performance they've put up so far? Still struggling, of course, to get through Mr. Abaji. But we'll take a short break and we'll come back from the break. We'll still try as much as we can to establish connection with Mr. Abaji, but we'll still have a lot for you on the show this morning.